All right, back again. Now we're going to do the fission PhET part 2, the chain reaction part. So I'm going to flip back to this simulation here. And it says to go to the chain reaction tab. So here is the chain reaction tab. This is the part where I'm going to tell you this is a really good one for you to experiment with on your own if you can. It is deeply satisfying to do the chain reaction part, and I'll tell you more about what I mean by that in a second. So here's what I'd say. You can experiment with all the settings. You can just kind of go, all right, so do I want this? Okay, and then if I fire this, then what happens? Start thinking about that. You can adjust different types. You can do this, see what happens. You can change all of these. Boom, boom. Watch what happens. Get rid of these. Add more of these. Just play with stuff a little bit. And start thinking about all of that. Okay? So, that's kind of experimenting with it. I'm going to leave it at that. I'm going to come down to this Reset All button that's a little hidden down here and set that up. And let's take a look at what we're supposed to be doing here. All right, so we're going to set the initial number of uranium-235 nuclei to 100. So here are the uranium-235 nuclei. I'm going to set that to 100. All right, so I'm going to fire the neutron gun. So note the gun can rotate, so you can change the way you are aiming. You just got to click on the front of it and move it around. And then I'm just going to fire. All right, this is the part that I mean is deeply satisfying. This is my favorite part of the simulation. Reset the nuclei. Let's do it again. Let's aim it a different way. And boom. Very, very fun. All right. So now that we're at that, I want you to think about why is this called a chain reaction. So I want you to think about in the last section we looked at what makes one nucleus explode, right? So I'm going to reset all here. And we know that to make one nucleus explode, we add a neutron, and then it splits up, becomes unstable, splits up into 2 daughter nuclei and 3 neutrons. So what happens when we have 100 of these that makes it a chain reaction, right? So think about that. What makes the other nuclei explode, not just the one I hit with my neutron gun that I shoot? And so now we're going to look at the next section, uranium-238 nuclei to 100. So if I have 100 of them, drag my gun around, boom. So think about what's happening to that uranium-238. It is becoming uranium-239, right? Is this a chain reaction, do you think? Why or why not? And then we're going to do a quick experiment, and I will go ahead and do this experiment and come up with some data that you can put in here for your paper if you don't have it. I'm not going to talk too much about it. I'm not going to explain the answers to the questions, but I will help you do that. So let's come back here. We're going to reset everything. We want 100 of these. Move that down to 0. 100 of these. All right. So here's what I'm looking for when I'm doing this. I'm going to see what percent is fissioned after one firing and the number of firings required to fission all of it. So here we go with the first one. I'll just point out down here at the bottom, it tells you the percent that was fissioned. So we're going to do one firing. And 97.96%. So, and then the number of firings to get everything. Well, I'm going to aim here. This is firing number 2. And then firing number 3. Hopefully I'm going to hit it and not look like a fool. There we go. All right. So that took 3 firings. Now let's move on. We're going to do 70 of these and 30 of these. I recommend using the sliders. You can try typing the numbers in, but I find that half the time when I do that, it doesn't work. All right, so here we go. I'm going to do one shot. Boom. See how much. All right. Percent fissioned after, I got 1.43. Number of firings required. Let's try this. Boom. 2, 3. There we go. We're getting a little better at this. I'm going to try and get that one up in the corner. And there's a couple up in the corner. 4. That's 5. Come down here. We'll shoot these ones up. 6, 7. It's getting a little ridiculous. 8. 9. I'm not going to count that one because it didn't hit anything. 9. And 10. Hopefully. You know it's going to be 10. Might actually be like 14. It's like the person who's trying to hit the last putt in on a golf. So 10 real shots to get that. So I'm going to count that as 10. Let's do this to 50-50. So I'm going to plug in 50 here and 50 here, and you'll see what I mean. It doesn't do 50. It does 25 for some reason. I'm going to reset 50, 50. Okay. So now let's try this again. Boom. I did a little bit better. I got 16%. Hi, mini kitty. Cat is back. All right. Number of firings to do it. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. This is getting a little absurd. Let's fire down this direction. 8. There we go. There's a little bit of a reaction. Let's fire down kind of that direction. 9. Oh, I just totally missed. Let's try that again. We'll recount that one. 9. 10. That one actually hit something. That one, we'll redo that one again. 10. Go. Okay, let's try 11. Oh my goodness, this is taking forever. 12. Hey, that got some. 13. 14. Come on, hit something. There we go. Yay. All right. That one did some damage. All right, 15. Try and hit that one up there. And 15. So it took me 15 hits to get all of them. All right, now we're going to do this again. We're going to reset, but this time we're going to do 30 of these and 70 of these. Again, doesn't want to go all the way up to 70, so I'll just slide this up to 70. All right. This might take a while. 1. So 0 was actually done. 0% actually done after the first round, and then I fired twice already. 3. 4. 5. 6, 7, 8, 9. Let's try that again. 9, 10. 11, 12, 13. Oh my goodness, this is going to take forever. 14. It's going to take longer than I have for this video. 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21. And I think you see how this is going here. 22. 23. 24, 25, 26. 27. There we go. That took out a few. 28. I'm just going to say this one. Oh, man. I'm just going to say this one took a while because we're almost at the end of my time for this video. 28. Alright, so I'm going to say 28 plus. Here's what I want you to think about. What happens to the reaction as the proportion of uranium-238 nuclei increases? So as I have more and more of this one, what happens to the reaction? The other thing you might think about is doing this again, like setting it up, doing a couple of them with 100, because I might get a different number than 1.43 this time. I might get a different number than 97% this time. All right? And then if you were trying to design the most efficient reactor, so the one that's going to make everything fission and explode the most, which one of these might you use and why? The final thing you're going to do is you're going to look at resetting everything. I'm going to bring this down to this right now, and I'm going to put a containment vessel in place. So I want you to think about like what things affect whether this becomes a bomb or not. Okay? So we've got that. I'm going to change a couple of things. For example, I might do this. There's other things I can do. I can, for example, make this much bigger. Slide that up. Boom. And we can see what happens. Oh, I've created an atomic bomb. All right. So then I got to come down here to the reset all. Yes. Containment vessel. So think about what are the things that make it possible for me to create an atomic bomb, right? Let's see. I'm going to do this. I'm going to reset. Put it right about there. What factors influence whether I can create an atomic bomb or not? So think about that. It's something I want you to be thinking about as you're doing this. I'm going to get rid of some of those, put in a bunch of those, see what happens. Alright, so that time I didn't create an atomic bomb. Those are some things for you to think about. Play around with this simulation a little bit. That'll do that. So that's going to be the end of part 2 for this. I'm going to come back and do part 3 with the nuclear reactor here very soon. And yeah, that's it.